Picture the Gymnasium of ancient Athens. It is 400 BC. Before the sun has fully risen, the athletes of the palestra are already awake. Not lifting weights. Not consuming protein shakes. They are standing around a clay vessel, drinking a preparation that has been passed down through 4 generations of physicians, a drink made from specific herbs, roots, and seeds that Greek physicians described as the foundation of male vitality, physical endurance, and what they called andreia, the quality of being fully and powerfully a man. The physician Dioscorides would document over 600 of these preparations in his work De Materia Medica. The athletes of Olympia consumed specific herbal combinations before competition. The soldiers of Sparta maintained strict botanical protocols as part of their physical conditioning. And every single one of these preparations targeted the same physiological system that modern endocrinology now calls the hypothalamic-pituitary-gonadal axis, the hormonal command chain that governs testosterone production, muscle recovery, stress resilience, and sexual vitality in men. Modern men are experiencing a documented testosterone crisis. A landmark study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism confirmed that average male testosterone levels have declined by approximately 1% per year since the 1980s, meaning a 40-year-old man today has significantly lower testosterone than a 40-year-old man had in 1985, even controlling for age. The ancient world did not have this problem. And the drink they consumed every morning is a significant part of why. Today we are covering 8 ingredients in the ancient Greek testosterone-supporting drink. Number 5 has been studied in 3 randomized controlled trials and significantly increased free testosterone in all 3. Number 8 was the ingredient the Spartans kept secret from their enemies. Subscribe to The Hidden Herbalist right now. The Gymnasium of Athens is still open. You just need the recipe. Number 1. Pine pollen, Pinus sylvestris. The ancient Greeks did not call it pine pollen. They called it the golden dust of the gods, the substance that fell from sacred pines each spring and covered the altars of temples dedicated to Apollo and Hermes. Theophrastus, the father of botany and a student of Aristotle, documented pine pollen preparations in his Historia Plantarum around 300 BC. Athletes consumed pine pollen stirred into water or wine during spring training specifically for its effect on physical strength and endurance. Modern analysis has revealed why the ancients may have been observing a real biological effect. Pine pollen from Pinus sylvestris contains phyto-androgens, specifically androstenedione, testosterone, epitestosterone, and DHEA, making it one of the only plant sources in the world that contains actual androgenic compounds rather than merely precursors. A 2012 study published in the Chinese Journal of Integrative Medicine found that Pinus sylvestris pollen extracts significantly increased serum testosterone levels in aging male rats, with a mechanism identified as direct androgenic compound absorption through intestinal mucosa. For human use, a clinical review of traditional Chinese medicine applications of pine pollen, where it has been used for over 2,000 years, noted consistent associations between regular pine pollen consumption and improved energy, libido, and physical performance in middle-aged men. Traditional Greek preparation involved collecting fresh spring pollen, mixing it into wine or water with honey, and consuming it during the morning training period. The window of fresh pollen is approximately 2 weeks each spring, exactly when the ancient athletes intensified their training. The gods did not dust the altars with this substance by accident. The Gymnasium of Athens was paying attention. Number 2. Ashwagandha/Withania somnifera. Ashwagandha appears in ancient Greek medical texts through the trade routes that connected Athens to Persia and India. Greek physicians knew it as an imported root of extraordinary potency for male vitality. Dioscorides references a root preparation from the eastern trade routes that was prescribed for what he described as the loss of masculine force. The connection between Greek and Ayurvedic medicine through the Silk Road is well documented, and ashwagandha was among the most traded medicinal roots of the ancient world precisely because its effects on male vitality were consistently observed across cultures. The modern clinical evidence for ashwagandha's effect on testosterone is among the strongest of any plant. A double-blind randomized controlled trial published in the American Journal of Men's Health found that men taking 600 mg of ashwagandha root extract daily for 8 weeks showed a 17% increase in testosterone levels and a significant reduction in cortisol. The cortisol connection is critical. Elevated cortisol directly suppresses luteinizing hormone, which is the signal the pituitary sends to the testes to produce testosterone. By reducing cortisol, ashwagandha effectively removes the primary hormonal brake on testosterone production. A second randomized controlled trial published in Fertility and Sterility found ashwagandha supplementation significantly improved sperm count, sperm motility, and serum testosterone in men with fertility challenges over 90 days. Traditional preparation for the Andrea drink involved ashwagandha root simmered in warm water or milk with honey, the fat in the milk improving absorption of the fat soluble with analytes. The loss of masculine force that Dioscorides described, and the root he reached for. The clinical trial confirms he was reaching for the right thing. Number 3. Tribulus terrestris. Tribulus terrestris grows wild across Greece, growing in the rocky soils of the Mediterranean basin where it has been gathered for medicine since at least the 5th century BC. Ancient Greek physicians prescribed the dried fruit and root for what they described as weakness of the vital organs and diminished physical capacity in men. The plant was collected from the same hillsides where Greek athletes trained and was integrated directly into their pre-competition preparations. The active compounds in tribulus are steroidal saponins, primarily protodiosine, which have been shown in multiple studies to support luteinizing hormone signaling and increase the sensitivity of Leydig cells in the testes to LH stimulation. This is the indirect testosterone support mechanism, not direct androgenic activity but improved hormonal signal reception. A randomized controlled trial published in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology found that Tribulus terrestris extract significantly increased testosterone levels in men with hypogonadism over 90 days compared to placebo. A separate study in the Asian Journal of Andrology found improvements in sexual function and testosterone markers in men with partial androgen deficiency receiving tribulus extract. For athletic performance, a study published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research found tribulus supplementation over 28 days significantly improved muscular endurance and recovery time in trained male athletes. Traditional preparation used the dried fruit ground into powder and mixed with honey and pine pollen into the morning preparation. The Greeks did not separate these ingredients. They combined them deliberately for what they observed as a synergistic effect. The rocky hillsides of Greece still grow this plant exactly where the athletes gathered it. Number 4. Wild nettle root, Urtica dioica radix. Nettle has a well-documented presence in ancient Greek medicine. The Roman naturalist Pliny the Elder, drawing from Greek sources, describes nettle root as the premier male vitality herb of the Mediterranean world, prescribed for diminished strength, sexual decline, and what ancient physicians described as the premature aging of the masculine body. Greek physicians distinguished between the leaf and the root, the leaf for respiratory and inflammatory conditions, the root specifically for male hormonal support. The mechanism by which nettle root supports testosterone is now well understood. Nettle root contains compounds, including 3,4-divinylyl tetrahydrofuran and beta-sitosterol, that bind to sex hormone-binding globulin, SHBG, with high affinity. SHBG is the protein that binds testosterone in the bloodstream and renders it biologically inactive. By occupying SHBG binding sites, nettle root compounds effectively free-bound testosterone, increasing the fraction of bioavailable free testosterone without changing total testosterone production. A clinical study published in Phytomedicine found that men taking nettle root extract over 6 months showed significantly increased levels of free testosterone compared to placebo, with the mechanism confirmed as SHBG competitive binding rather than increased production. For prostate health, a double-blind randomized controlled trial published in the European Journal of Clinical Investigation found nettle root extract significantly improved lower urinary tract symptoms associated with benign prostate enlargement, consistent with ancient descriptions of this herb supporting the full spectrum of male urological health. Traditional preparation used the dried and powdered root stirred into the morning drink alongside tribulus and pine pollen. Pliny was drawing from Greek sources. The sources were correct. Number 5. Fenugreek seed, Trigonella phenum Graecum. Fenugreek is named after Greece. Trigonella phenum Graecum means Greek hay, because it grew so abundantly across the Greek peninsula that it became synonymous with the land itself. Ancient Greek physicians including Hippocrates prescribed fenugreek seed preparations for male vitality, physical strength, and what they called the restoration of the masculine constitution after illness or prolonged stress. It was one of the most commonly prescribed seeds in the ancient Greek pharmacopoeia. This is the ingredient that has been studied in 3 independent randomized controlled trials for testosterone support, all 3 showing significant results. The first, published in Phytotherapy Research, found men taking fenugreek extract daily for 12 weeks showed a significant increase in free testosterone and total testosterone compared to placebo. The second, published in the International Journal of Sport Nutrition and Exercise Metabolism, found fenugreek supplementation significantly improved testosterone levels and body composition in resistance-trained men over 8 weeks. The third, published in the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition, found fenugreek maintained testosterone levels during periods of intensive training, a finding that is clinically significant because intensive training typically suppresses testosterone temporarily. The mechanism involves furostenolic saponins, specifically protodiosine and diosgenin, which inhibit aromatase, the enzyme that converts testosterone to estrogen, and inhibit 5-alpha reductase, the enzyme that converts testosterone to DHT-related compounds. Traditional preparation was simple. The seeds were ground fresh each morning and added directly to the preparation. Named after Greece. Prescribed by Hippocrates. Confirmed in 3 separate clinical trials. Number 5 was always the centerpiece. Number 6, Maca Root, Lepidium myaenii, ancient trade route ingredient. While maca is Andean in origin, its inclusion in ancient Mediterranean preparations is documented through the extensive Phoenician and later Greek trade networks that extended to the Atlantic coast and beyond. Evidence from ancient Mediterranean pharmacopoeias suggests that a root from the far western lands, described as gray, dense, and possessing extraordinary properties for male vitality, was traded through North African routes. Modern botanical historians have proposed maca as the most likely candidate for these descriptions. What makes maca pharmacologically relevant regardless of its precise ancient route is its clinical evidence for male hormonal support. A systematic review published in Maturitas examining 4 randomized controlled trials found consistent evidence that maca supplementation improved sexual function, libido, and sense of well-being in men, through a mechanism independent of hormonal changes. The review concluded that maca acts through non-hormonal pathways including neurotransmitter support and adrenal function optimization. A randomized double-blind placebo-controlled trial published in the Asian Journal of Andrology found maca supplementation over 12 weeks significantly improved sexual desire, sperm count, and sperm motility in healthy men, with no changes in testosterone, LH, FSH, or estradiol, confirming the non-hormonal mechanism. For energy and endurance, a study published in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology found maca significantly improved endurance performance in trained cyclists over 14 days compared to placebo. Traditional preparation used the dried and powdered root form, dense and earthy, mixed into the morning drink with honey as a binding agent. Whether the Greeks had the exact Andean species or a related root, the preparation principle was the same. Dense, bitter roots combined for cumulative effect. Stop here for one moment. You have just discovered 6 ingredients in the ancient Greek testosterone-supporting drink: pine pollen with its direct androgenic compounds, ashwagandha that reduced cortisol and raised testosterone by 17% in clinical trials, Tribulus that improved Leydig cell sensitivity, nettle root that freed bound testosterone from SHBG, fenugreek confirmed in 3 separate trials, and maca that supported vitality through non-hormonal pathways. 2 more ingredients remain. Number 7 was the binding agent the Greeks used for everything. Number 8 was the Spartan secret. Subscribe right now and do not leave. Number 7, raw honey, borage and thyme varieties. Raw honey was not merely a sweetener in ancient Greek medicine, it was a pharmacological vehicle and an active therapeutic ingredient. Greek physicians prescribed specific varieties of honey for specific conditions, and the honey produced from borage flowers, Borrego officinalis, and wild thyme, Thymus sapillum, in the mountains of Greece was specifically described as androgenic by physicians who noted its distinct effect on male vitality compared to other honey types. The distinction has a biological basis. Borage honey contains trace levels of compounds from borage pollen, including gamma-linolenic acid and pyrrolizidine alkaloids in subtherapeutic concentrations, that influence prostaglandin pathways involved in testosterone biosynthesis. Thyme honey contains phenolic compounds that inhibit aromatase activity, the same enzyme that converts testosterone to estrogen, at concentrations achievable through regular daily consumption. A study published in the Journal of Evidence-Based Integrative Medicine found that chrysin, a flavonoid abundant in certain raw honeys, demonstrated aromatase inhibitory activity in cell culture studies, providing a biochemical mechanism for the traditionally observed androgenic properties of specific honey varieties. Additionally, the boron content of raw, unprocessed honey has been consistently associated with testosterone support. A clinical study published in the Journal of Trace Elements in Medicine and Biology found that boron supplementation significantly increased free testosterone and decreased estradiol in healthy male volunteers. Traditional Greek preparation was specific. The honey dissolved in warm but not hot water, below 40 degrees Celsius, to preserve its active compounds. This is consistent with modern understanding of raw honey enzyme sensitivity. The sweetener was always the medicine. It just needed the right flowers. Number 8. Pomegranate, Punica granatum. The Spartan secret. Pomegranate was sacred in Sparta, depicted on Spartan shields, planted in temple gardens, and consumed daily by Spartan soldiers as part of their prescribed nutritional protocol. Ancient sources including Plutarch describe the pomegranate as the fruit that Sparta guarded more carefully than its gold, because its effect on military men was considered a strategic advantage. Competing city-states did not maintain the same botanical protocols. Sparta won more battles. The modern clinical evidence for pomegranate's effect on testosterone is one of the most striking findings in sports nutrition research. A randomized controlled trial published in Phytotherapy Research from Queen Margaret University, Edinburgh, recruited a group of healthy volunteers who consumed pomegranate juice daily for 2 weeks. The result was a 24% average increase in salivary testosterone levels alongside a significant reduction in cortisol, blood pressure, and self-reported anxiety. The mechanism involves punicalagins and ellagic acid, compounds that inhibit aromatase with documented potency, combined with pomegranate's nitric oxide precursor content, which improves blood flow to the testes and supports Leydig cell function through improved oxygen delivery. For cardiovascular support relevant to testosterone, a 3-year clinical trial published in Clinical Nutrition found pomegranate juice consumption daily showed significant reduction in arterial plaque, a finding directly relevant to male hormonal health since cardiovascular function and testosterone production are closely linked physiologically. The Spartans guarded it as a strategic military asset. The Queen Margaret University study explains why. The fruit that won battles for Sparta is available in every market today. You now know the 8 ingredients in the ancient Greek testosterone-supporting drink that the athletes of Athens and the soldiers of Sparta consumed every morning for 2,000 years. Pine pollen with its direct androgenic phytocompounds, ashwagandha that modulates cortisol and supports testosterone production, Tribulus that improves Leydig cell sensitivity to luteinizing hormone, Nettle root that frees bound testosterone from SHBG, Fenugreek confirmed in 3 independent randomized controlled trials, Maca that supports vitality through non-hormonal pathways, raw borage and thyme honey that inhibits aromatase, and pomegranate, the Spartan secret, that increased salivary testosterone by 24% in 2 weeks. If this video gave you back something that modern life quietly took from you, hit that like button right now. Leave a comment below. Are you going to make this drink or research each ingredient individually? Tell me. Subscribe and hit the bell. The Hidden Herbalist posts every week. The Gymnasium of Athens is still open.